In the battle against COVID-19, the United States may soon add another weapon to the arsenal. Johnson & Johnson announced on Friday that its single-dose vaccine was 66% effective in preventing COVID-19 in a large global trial against multiple variants. In the study of nearly 44,000 volunteers across 3 continents, the level of protection against moderate and severe COVID-19 varied from 72% in the United States to 66% in Latin America, but just 57% in South Africa, where a particularly worrying variant has been circulating. The U.S. found its first cases of the South African variant in the state of South Carolina this week. The globe is in an urgent race, trying to vaccinate as many people as possible before more of these variants can spread further and others can emerge. Cut down on global cases and you cut down on the chance for new, dangerous mutations. Top U.S. infectious disease specialist Anthony Fauci.
This is a wake-up call to all of us that we will be dealing as the virus uses its devices to evade pressure, particularly immunological pressure, that we will continue to see the evolution of mutants. So that means that we, as a government, the companies, all of us that are in this together, will have to be nimble. This all tells us that it is an incentive to do what we've been saying all along, to vaccinate as many people as we can, as quickly as we possibly can.
Johnson & Johnson plans to seek emergency use authorization from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration next week. It has said it plans to deliver 1 billion doses of the vaccine globally in 2021, which it will make in the United States, Europe, South Africa, and India. Unlike the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, J&J's does not require a second shot weeks after the first, nor does it need to be kept frozen, making it a strong candidate for use in parts of the world where transportation and cold storage present problems.
European Union regulators have now approved AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine for people over the age of 18, the third shot to be cleared for use there. The AstraZeneca vaccine demonstrated an efficacy of about 60% in the trials on which it based its decision, the European Medicines Agency said in a statement. There were not yet enough results for people over the age of 55 to determine how well the vaccine would work for this group, the agency said. However, it said protection was expected and that the vaccine can be given to older people. AstraZeneca CEO Pascal Soriot welcomed the decision. The bloc also published its contract with AstraZeneca on Friday, which said the Anglo-Swedish drug maker should use facilities in Britain as well as continental Europe to manufacture its vaccines for the EU. Europe urgently needs more shots to speed up its inoculation programme, which lags behind ex-member Britain and the United States. AstraZeneca and other suppliers have cut deliveries, citing production problems. And the EU has demanded that it uses supplies made in Britain for use in the bloc. AstraZeneca says it's bound by a separate contract with the British government to fulfil the UK's order before it can export doses from there abroad.
The government and Canada's main airlines have agreed to suspend service to sun destinations right away.
In a race to clamp down on coronavirus amid fears of more contagious variants, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Friday announced tough new travel restrictions, saying this is not the time to be flying.
Air Canada, WestJet, Sunwing, and Air Transat are cancelling air service to all Caribbean destinations and Mexico starting this Sunday up until April 30th.
And for those who can still fly to Canada, they'll have to budget for a stay at a hotel.
In addition to the pre-boarding test we already acquire, as soon as possible in the coming weeks, we will be introducing mandatory PCR testing at the airport for people returning to Canada. Travelers will then have to wait for up to 3 days at an approved hotel for their test results at their own expense, which is expected to be more than $2,000.
Starting next week, only 4 of the country's airports will be open for returning international flights. And according to Trudeau, entering Canada by car will soon be harder too. The new restrictions come as Canada's COVID-19 vaccine rollout suffered another setback.
This temporary delay,
Trudeau said Moderna's next vaccine delivery would be almost a quarter smaller than expected. Trudeau has faced pressure from provincial leaders to tighten restrictions because travelers who returned from spring break trips last year brought the virus with them. A second wave of coronavirus is sweeping Canada, and health officials say some hospitals run the risk of being overwhelmed unless the country can control the spread.
In the latest blizzard of moves by the president to quickly reverse policy under Donald Trump, U.S. President Joe Biden signed an executive order on Thursday reopening the nation's online health insurance marketplace for people who cannot obtain coverage through their employers.
Basically, the best way to describe them, to undo the damage Trump has done. There's nothing new that we're doing here other than restoring the Affordable Care Act and restoring the Medicaid to the way it was before Trump became president.
The order restores access to healthcare.gov and will allow people to sign up for insurance through the government exchange from February 15th to May 15th, which is longer than the 6 weeks it had been in the past.
We are done.
Biden has vowed to shore up programs created under former President Barack Obama's sweeping 2010 Affordable Care Act, arguing that the changes are urgent because of the health crisis. Republicans have long opposed the law, criticizing the cost and quality of care, as well as extensive government involvement in healthcare markets. While Trump long promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, he was not able to do either one.
Shares of GameStop resumed their torrid rally, at one point more than doubling in price on Friday after online broker Robinhood partially lifted a controversial trading restriction. Robinhood's Reversal Friday once again unleashed an army of small investors behind this week's dramatic squeeze on Wall Street hedge funds, seen as a showdown between so-called amateur investors and Wall Street professionals. The trading app said on its website that it was easing the restrictions, but still would not allow investors to purchase fractional shares in GameStop and the other stocks caught up in the recent trading frenzy, which means small investors will have to put up more money if they want to buy any of those stocks. Thursday's clampdown, which Robinhood said it made to protect the company and its customers from volatility, angered its users, some of whom staged a small protest outside company headquarters in California. But hordes more turned to Wall Street Bets to express their outrage. That's the anonymous nearly 6 million member Reddit forum, largely seen as sparking the rally in GameStop and the other stocks. 31-year-old Colin McClelland is one of those who jumped on the GameStop bandwagon and cried foul at Robinhood's restrictions.
You know, when the big man, when the quote-unquote suits don't get their way and they start losing, they just shut down the game and change the rules. I think it's extremely unfair, and the SEC's put in place to protect the little man from things like this happening. So hopefully, you know, the regulators and politicians are taking a strong look at this and they get down to the bottom of it.
Officials are paying attention. The Securities and Exchange Commission issued a warning Friday to both brokerages and the pack of social media traders that it was closely monitoring potential wrongdoing. The trading surge is taking its toll on the Robinhood platform, which was already one of the more popular apps for small investors. It reportedly had to raise more than $1 billion from existing investors and tap a credit line so that it has the funds to ensure trades can go through without a hiccup. Trades that are coming in swiftly Friday as GameStop soared once again.
When Elon Musk tweets, people trade. Bitcoin jumped as much as 14% on early Friday, hitting a 2-week high. Fueling the buying, the Tesla CEO simply wrote #Bitcoin in his bio on the Twitter site. It's not the first time he has broached the subject. In a Twitter exchange with a Bitcoin advocate last month, he asked about the possibility of converting large transactions of Tesla's balance sheet into that digital currency. Musk has a record of making comments on Twitter that move the markets. Nearly 44 million users follow the billionaire entrepreneur. On Thursday, shares of Polish games producer CD Projekt rocketed higher after Musk posted a tweet expressing his admiration for its video game Cyberpunk 2077, writing, "The aesthetics of Cyberpunk are incredible, by the way." And 3 days ago, GameStop surged 50% after Musk tweeted "Game Stonk," along with a link to the Reddit Wall Street Bets chat room. Stonks is internet slang for stocks, and in that form, GameStop supporters affectionately refer to him as Papa Musk.
In a dramatic shift, the largest U.S. automaker Thursday set an ambitious public goal to end the sale of gasoline and diesel-powered cars, SUVs, and light-duty trucks by the year 2035. General Motors also pledged to become carbon neutral by 2040. The news comes just over a week after President Joe Biden took office, promising to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and replace hundreds of thousands of government vehicles with electric models.
All-electric vehicle future.
GM Chief Executive Mary Barra has aggressively pushed the company to embrace electric vehicles, saying in a statement the automaker had worked with the Environmental Defense Fund to, quote, develop a shared vision of an all-electric future.
Making our EV future something people race toward.
GM has a long way to go. It sold 2.5 million vehicles in the United States last year, only about 20,000 of which were EVs. But GM said in November it was investing $27 billion in electric and autonomous vehicles over the next 5 years, up from $20 billion in earlier plans. GM shares surged on the news as much as 7%, but gave back some of those gains by day's end.